Welcome to Tentative Title with Tim. This is a podcast about creativity, about process, about filmmaking, and about screenwriting. Welcome, everybody, to the show. So we are now in November. This is the first week of November. It's also the month of NaNoWriMo, which I've talked about some months ago, and I'm very excited to start writing a novel that I honestly have no idea where it's going to go, but doing this every year is so much fun, and it makes me feel like I'm normal, like I'm doing something productive, that I'm doing something creative. It's a challenge, and I highly recommend it. If you have not heard of NaNoWriMo, you can go on their website and sign up, and you basically announce your project, whatever it is. It used to be just novels, but now you can announce a short story or a script or whatever it is, like a poem. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you're writing for the month of November, and the goal is to try to get 50,000 words. And coming from somebody who doesn't really, I like writing when I'm in the zone, but it can be very tough, as you know, many as many writers can tell you, because writing is hard. It's taking something in your head and trying to make it make sense on the page. Even if you see if you see it so vividly in your mind, just to be able to make that transition from what's in your head onto the page can be such a daunting task. But the entire point of NaNoWriMo is just to get the words on the page, and you can edit everything afterwards. It does not matter. It's all about just generating work. So that's happening, and that's really exciting. The other thing that is exciting, but gives me a lot of anxiety, and I have no idea what the heck's going to happen, but it's also the week of the election, and I don't want to go into it. We will see by the end of the week what comes out of it, and I just, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to talk about imposter syndrome. That's right, we're going to talk about imposter syndrome today. It's something that I haven't heard from anybody outside of the artistic community. I've only heard it from actors and from writers and directors. I've heard it from film and theater and the people that I usually talk to. And the reason why is because it's really hard to believe that that we're good at what we do, as funny as it may sound. Like we may have confidence in what it is we're doing. We may have all the knowledge to know how to do it right, but there's always that little voice in the back of our head that says, you are not supposed to be here. You do not belong in this realm of talent. You have not earned this. Any number of negative thoughts that kind of creep up usually do, and it's a very weird phenomenon, because even people who have been in the business forever, and I'm talking like decades and decades, they still talk about this imposter syndrome. They could win 5 Academy Awards and they're still gonna say, I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like there was some kind of mistake. some like some kind of algorithm glitch happened, and that's the only reason why I won these things, or I got these accolades, or I got, or my movie made $1 billion. It's just it's never ending, and it's so fascinating because like I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that like the work itself doesn't feel like it's real, and so when we're getting complimented about how good it is, it's easy to just kind of, I guess, dismiss it and say, well, there's no possible way that like that I made something good, because I don't feel like I'm that good, or that what I create is of any quality. And it's a very it's a very interesting kind of wave that happens with the creative life, and I've gone through the same ups and downs where I feel like I've accomplished something, I've written a script, or I've finished something, and I feel like, oh wow, I accomplished that was great. And then it comes time to do it again. And I sit down at the computer and I'm ready to write the next script, and I think, what am I doing? I'm no screenwriter. I'm no filmmaker. Who am I to do this? Like, no, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, this is not what I do. This is not me. Like, no way. And eventually that those thoughts go away. And especially when I make my way into the story and I start to write and I start to get into the zone, then all of that kind of like goes away. But it's just those moments in between projects, or those moments when I just get some kind of compliment for something, and I just am like, no, I'm the imposter. Like, I what are you talking about? And it's really funny. I've grown to have a sense of humor about it. It used to really kind of tear down my confidence, and now I just know that whenever I have that feeling, it's very short-lived. Once I get my focus off of myself and on what I'm working on, then all that goes away. And I wonder how other filmmakers out there, how you guys deal with the imposter syndrome. Do you even, like, is it something that you experience? Is it something that you're dealing with right now? What's going on with you guys? Because I really think that it can stop us from doing great things if we think that we're always on the outside, that we're not as good as we think we are, or that we're not capable of taking on something big. Because everything about what it is to be an artist and a filmmaker and a writer is all about taking risks. It's all about saying to, the people who say that you can't do it, that, it's impossible, or that's never worked in the past. It's always a challenge to say, you know what? Yes, it probably didn't work in the past, or it probably is impossible, but I can't help but want to try anyway, just to see if maybe I can crack the code. Maybe there's some way that I'm looking at the story that is unique enough that it actually is the formula that makes that story that wouldn't usually work. And there's examples of this. Like, think of any movie that if you were to cast somebody different in the lead role, or if certain elements of that film had not come together, it would not be the classic film that you consider it to be now. Like, I'm fascinated by all of the stories of the actors who could have played these iconic roles. Like, case in point, Al Pacino was up to play Han Solo. Like, imagine that. Imagine Al Pacino playing Han Solo. Like, it's almost impossible because Harrison Ford did it so well. And there's like numerous other kind of like casting considerations that you think, wow, if things had gone a different way, and that actor or actress had gotten that part, how would that film be different? How would that show be different? Would it be as good? It's like, would that formula still work? And that's really fascinating. And so I kind of take that into my own creative process, where I look at the story that I'm trying to tell, and I think, well, first off, how do I want to tell the story? And then how has the story been told in the past? And is my way different than that way? And is it enough that it's interesting, or that I could bring enough to it that it's gonna make that formula work? And it's really impossible to tell until you try. And you can't try if you always feel like you're an imposter, that you're not supposed to be there, that you are not the man or the woman for the job. And I guess it's this some kind of arrogance that has to come with it, but it's you gotta just try. And that's not to say that if somebody comes to you with a project and they say, this is going to be great, like, I really love you as a writer or as a director or as an actor, I want you to, you're going to be the thing that's going to make this different. It's not to say that, you can't step back and say, well, I know myself. I know where my career is going. I know what I want to do. And that is not that is not where I want to go with my career. That's perfectly fine too. In fact, like, you probably are not dealing with as much imposter syndrome as somebody who is just trying to make anything happen and it not working out. But this business, it's all about just trying. And a lot of things are going to fail, and some things are going to make it to a certain point, and other things will make it to the finish line. And hopefully all those things that make it to the finish line are going to be enough that people are going to look at that and say, oh, wow, you can do this. You were meant to do this. This is your job. You are not the imposter, so to speak. So that's all I got for today. I just I don't know what is going to happen this week. So we will see. And let's not feel like imposters. Let's just sit down and do the work and do the things that we love, and really just share things with the world, and create things that are aspiring and are full of hope. I mean, that's, if there's the bare minimum of what we can do as artists, is try to give a little bit of perspective and a little bit of hope. So until then, I'll talk to you on the next one. Also, if you haven't done this already, I have a Twitter account for the podcast. It's at title_Tim. And I also have a Facebook page as well, and you can subscribe to that, and I will put episodes up there and any updates. So yeah, come on by, say hi, and yeah, till the next one.